Hello once again, diabolical villains. Pardon me. Hello and welcome to the Cyberden with good old Jake the Voice right here on Siren Radio. Today, going to be interviewing none other than Kate Clavelo, better known as the voice of Miss Heed from Villainous. Thanks for coming, mate.
Hi, it's me, Miss Heed. Thanks for having me, Jake. Hi, I'm Kate Clavelo, the voice of Miss Heed in the official English dub of Villainous, a part that is very, very special, near and dear to my heart, ever since I got on board the project, and even before then. I'm a 20-year-old voice actress based in Florida, in the U.S. I work from home. I work for many different studios. I've been voice acting for 10 years now. Started since I was a wee child, and I am now doing voiceover alongside directing my own projects and shows. So that's pretty much my background.
You're jumping straight into it already.
I didn't know what to say, but I hope that that makes it clear who I am and all.
It certainly does. Well, let's dive in with some more questions. Let's start off with the bread and butter question. How did you get into voice acting?
Oh, wow. 10 years ago, I'll start from the very beginning. 20 years ago, my mom has been voice acting for long before I was even born. She is a very big voice actress in Latin America, as she is the official Spanish Latin American voices for Cartman and Kyle in South Park, as well as a bunch of other roles in that show, and Fairly Odd Parents. She was Vicky in the official Spanish dub. She's done so many things. She was in Lazy Town and all these different shows, Spanish dub, she was the official voice for. So many different iconic characters that people have grown up with over the years. And I've, looked up to her ever since I was little. And she's acted for such a long time. So from the moment that I started, growing up, I wanted to start acting as well because I wanted to take after her and get into the acting world. And from there, I started going to the studio with her to work, and, I would watch her work and do her thing, and I'd be like, man, that looks so fun being behind that microphone, in that booth the whole time, and, doing all these different voices. And growing up, I loved cartoons. I loved anime, anything animation. I loved it. I would hear all these fun, different voices. I would do all these fun, different voices. From every cartoon I would hear a new voice. I'd be like, I want to do that voice. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so they were holding auditions at one of the studios that my mom worked at for younger talent. And they said, well, your daughter always comes by. She has experience in acting and theater. Why doesn't she give it a try? Come by for an audition for a show sometime. And so I did. And I started doing cartoons. I started actually in Spanish. I started my voice acting journey in Spanish. So from there, I started auditioning for cartoons that I would be voicing in Spanish, and one of which was actually South Park. Funny enough, I was Honey Boo Boo in the Spanish dub of South Park, which was hilarious because I had to go up against my mom, who was Cartman, and then they had a whole fight scene, and it was so funny. And I remember being so little, and I was like, oh man, do I have to say the bad words on the screen? I don't want to say it. Because it was in the script, I had to say bad words. That's, South Park. And they were like, yep, you have to say it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for the sake of the show because I want to be an actress. But it was like that starting out, and then over the years I started doing more and more English, and then Spanish was kind of in the back burner. I wasn't really focused on Spanish voiceover now. I was just throwing myself into English dubbing for cartoons, for live action series, for telenovelas and things like that. We got so many different cartoons at that studio and at the other studios that I eventually started working at as well over the years. And that's kind of how I got to hear, I guess.
From humble beginnings, indeed.
Yep.
So, do you have any favourite actors or any inspirational voice actors, aside from your mother, of course? Any others that come to mind?
Oh my gosh. I think that I especially started really looking up to voice actors when I got into cartoons and all that. I loved I loved anime so much. I started, like, my love for anime really grew in, like, middle school, and I was watching shows like Ouran High School Host Club and Kill la Kill and all these shows that I just, like, those were, like, the beginning of my love for anime that just spiraled into what it is now. Always loved the voices I heard in them, and definitely some that really stood out to me, and just the way that they are as people, that I've met them at conventions and stuff, because I'm a fangirl. I'm a big fangirl of these voice actors. Love Johnny Youngbosch. Gotta be one of my number one, like, biggest voiceover inspirations. He's been there since the beginning, like, dubbing all of these, like, super, like, big anime and, you know, even cartoons, and he was even a Power Ranger back in the day, which is so cool. And really look up to him and the stuff that he's done for video games and anime and series and all this kind of stuff that he's worked on. Erica Harlicker, very big one as well. She's also very big in anime. She was in Persona 5, and I think she was also in the Danganronpa game series. So many other shows that I absolutely loved her work in. Vic Mignogna is also a really big inspiration as well. When I met him at conventions, he was such a great soul and such a great human being to just, you know, meet and get, you know, have the pleasure of meeting, because he was so cool. My mom actually really looked up to him and based her shows and her skits that she takes to her shows in Latin America, because she's an invited guest at conventions and all that in Latin America. I'll get more into that later, but she based her shows around his shows and, you know, his very essence and the way he interacts with his fans. So, as, you know, by proxy, I also really look up to the way that he treats his fan base and all of that. And these are, like, just a few examples. I think that someone that I also really started looking up to as well, because there's just so many to name, but one that I really want to talk about is Cristina Hernandez, the official Spanish voice for Miss Heed, like the Miss Heed, you know. I'm the English one, but she is the blueprint, like she is her. Love her work. I'm obsessed. The fact that she was literally the Powerpuff Girl Blossom, and she also I recently found out that she was I have a very big love for Studio Ghibli movies. She is the official voice in Spanish for Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, which is one of my most favorite and beloved movies. Like, I literally would watch that movie when I was a literal baby. I loved that movie. Still love. That movie's a part of me. I got a tattoo of that movie on me forever. I love that movie. And to find out that she was literally, like, she voiced one of, like, my childhood icons and, like, characters that I looked at and I was like, this is me. I am Kiki. You know, growing up. That was, like, so amazing to find out. And then to find that our paths have crossed and, like, now I voice a character that she has voiced in a different language is so inspiring and so amazing to me that it makes me really wish that sooner or later we get to all, like, meet up, you know, like, you know, their Spanish counterparts, us in the English at a convention somewhere, anywhere. I would love to go to a convention and hopefully get to go to one that she's at and meet her, you know, be it we're, you know, both guests somewhere. That would be an absolute honor. And then I would have to tell her how I did not think I would even hold a candle to her because she is so amazing. But those are definitely some voice acting figures and voice actors that are so incredibly talented that I definitely look up to for inspiration. Just anyone who has been in, like, any of my favorite games, anyone. I love them all. I probably can't even name them all off the top of my head, but they're all amazing. I am such a big fan of their work.
So let's get talking about Villainous now, especially with the role of Miss Heed. So how did you get this role? Do you enjoy playing the character, and what is it that you love about her?
Oh my goodness. This is a really funny story. Well, it's not that funny, but it's a story. So when we first heard that we were going to be getting Villainous, I was kind of really stoked because I had known about Villainous prior. I remember having seen the characters in like the crossover specials for on cartoons like Vincent and Valentino and other cartoons that they had appeared in from time to time. Like Flug would have a cameo, Dementia would have a cameo, and I would be like, "Wait, these characters are cool. Where are they from?" Googled it. Oh, Villainous, cool. Gotta watch that. And then finding out that we actually had gotten the project at the studio, I was like, if I don't make it into this show some way, somehow, as anything, I will jump off a cliff because it was just so incredible. And I love working with projects that are associated with Cartoon Network. Grew up with Cartoon Network, love Cartoon Network, and I just I wanted to be a part of it somehow. But yeah, when we got the project, they were doing the first round of auditions. I remember that the first ones they were auditioning for were the main ones, Flug, Dementia, and I think those were the only ones at the time because it was already kind of I think they had already had it set in stone that the others were going to come back to reprise their roles. Obviously, the creator, Alan Ituriel, and Markiplier as 505. But we were, males and females were auditioning for both Dementia and Flug. So I was in the bunch that originally auditioned for Dementia. And I was like, God, I hope that I get this. If I don't, something, there has to be something in there for me. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think it took a year before things were actually moving. And then they were like, okay, you didn't get the role, but there's this other character that we want you to try out for. And I thought, okay, great. Who is she? What does she do? And then they said, it's Miss Heed, the pink one. That she's the influencer and she's, she has all this going on. And I was like, oh my God, now if I blow it, I'm done for. If I really blow it, I'm going to be so upset. So I was like, okay, I'm going to study up on her. When I'm going to come in for the audition, I'm going to be prepared. I really want to do a good job. I went in for the audition for Miss Heed, and my heart was racing. I was like, I had to think of something that would get me into it, I knew her motives. I knew what she was like as a character. I watched the episode. I watched the entire series before we even began the audition process. And I was like, okay. Based on everything I know about her, this is how I have to approach it. And I remember my director at the time, who was working on the project, Jose Aparicio, he had told me, think e-girl. think e-girl, influencer. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I had in mind. So I went for it. I did the scene that they had chosen for the audition process, which was her being very flirty, coy, but still has her motives against Flug and her own success and her big scheme that she'd been planning. And so I did it. I went home. I was like, I hope I get something. I hope I get it. Hope I get her. And then I hear back, I think a week or two later, they had called me and they're really stoked to tell me that I had gotten the part. And I was like, oh my God, Miss Heed. I know, she's so beloved. Everyone in this show is beloved. Everyone loves these characters so much, and the way that they're received online is amazing. But I knew that a lot of people have have a lot of feelings towards Miss Heed, be it good or bad. And a lot of people really, really, really love her and heed her every command. Wink, wink. But I was like, this has got to be good. Like, I've gotten it now. Now I have to do my very best and make sure that it lives up to the expectations people have, and the hype behind, the English dub, and the fact that this character is now mine in some way. So I was very, very stoked. I was very, very honored. I really, really, like I said, I really wanted to do justice to Christina's original work in Spanish and bring that same energy and vibe to the English dub as well. I wanted it to be as accurate as it could be to what she sounded like. And then I actually had met Alan Ituriel over the phone because my mom had met him. She was at another convention and they happened to meet up because funny story is when they were choosing the auditions, he did not know who I was at all. And let me tell you, Alan Ituriel is a huge fan of my mom. Did not know that I was her daughter when he picked out, the audition that was going to be Miss Heed. Did not know whatsoever. So it came as a shock to him that, like, oh my God, the voice of my childhood, especially because he loves Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents, one of the voices from my childhood, her daughter, is going to be the beloved character that I created. So, and then, it was so funny how that worked out. And he actually got to meet me over a video call because I sadly couldn't be there in person to meet him. But we talked and he said that, he loved my audition. He loved my work. He thought that it was the best possible voice for her in the English dub, and that he was so stoked about it, and that he loved what I had done with the character. And I was like, I'm glad you entrusted me with her because I love her so much. I really want to see more of her story, where she's going to go from here, We only know so much right now. But it was so amazing to hear that from the creator of the show, and to also know that the crew had also reached out to me via social media and through him making fan art, sending me notes and messages like, we love your work with Miss Heed, we love what you did with her English voice, she sounds amazing, you sound amazing, thank you so much. And I got so many positive comments from the crew behind the show and also the fans of the show, and it was so amazing. It was such an honor, and I was so happy with the response that I was getting from everyone. It was really emotional for me. But that is that's how I landed the role. That's everything that came after, and I'm so excited to see what comes next. This character is just amazing. I'm really, really proud to be in this position right now.
I could tell by your enthusiasm, and it was great that you managed to meet the mastermind, Alan Ituriel himself. Speaking of which, Alan, if you are listening, there's this great voice actor I know who I think would be excellent for the future of, future Villainous episodes. What was his name? Jake? The something, the voice, Jake, memory's a bit foggy, but maybe give him a call. Maybe that might be worth a try. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So, do you have any favourite lines or moments with Miss Heed?
Oh my gosh. All her moments are... She is, let me tell you, a roller coaster. Start to finish, a roller coaster. Even just recording that episode, I just felt like I have to be up here, and then I have to be down here, and then I have to be, manipulative, and then I have to be like, I hate you, Like, it was like such a conglomeration of emotions with this character, and she goes from she remains in that range the entire time. It's crazy. But I love anytime she calls Flug Fluggy. Like, I love that. I love that. She's so, you know what she's after. You know that she's a user. She's just such a manipulator. It's insane. I love when she's like, oh, but I'm so ugly. Okay, I'll take a picture with you for $100. And then she's just like, her persona just lifts immediately. She's like, I'm so sad, but actually, I'm famous and I'm sexy. So, I love that about her. Love that about her. It was so much fun to bring that energy to the English dub and to maintain that range of emotions that she's constantly bouncing back and forth between, especially that explosion at the end of the episode where you see her for who she truly is and how ugly she really is. But then you see her again and you're like, oh man, kind of feel for her and you kind of want to see where she goes from here. But I think that from start to finish, it was just such an incredible process, and those are just some moments that I really enjoyed. And I probably can't remember more off the top of my head, but I loved emulating what she was like in Spanish to the English in those moments. It was incredible. Also very challenging.
So what about the rest of the show? Like, do you have any other kind of other favourite characters, or maybe any other episodes that kind of stand out as your favourites, aside from the Miss Heat episode, of course?
Oh, I love the episode that is literally a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode. Obviously, the one where Markiplier voices Blackhawk has got to be one of my favorites. I love him. It's still surreal that I even am in the same cast as him. He's such a freaking cool content creator and person, and the fact that he is like in this with us is super amazing. I loved all the episodes. I start to finish, I binged the whole thing probably 5 times by now, maybe more. I've lost count. But I love them all. Definitely that one. I think that they're all amazing. Gosh. I love the one with the ghost kids. That one is also hilarious. I think that's episode 2. Super funny. I love them all. They're so creative. The luchador match one is also amazing, where Dementia gets possessed by the mask. Love it. There are so many great moments. I love all the show so far. Assuming they're working on, the next ones are in production, for the following seasons or episodes or whatever else they are making right now. I know that the rest is going to be a complete banger after those episodes. Gotta be. As for characters, though, they all have a special place in my heart. I love Flug. I have such a soft spot for nerds. I grew up loving Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and now I love Flug. I just love the smart but soft side, nerdy guys in these kinds of shows. So cute. He's such a mess, and then Black Hat is so mean to him and uses him. Love Dementia. She is feral being, chaos, the embodiment of chaos. 505, you feel for him. He's such a cute character. And then Markiplier's little his noises for him are just the best. I love it. I love them all. I can't hate anyone from this show. It's just I know that my coworkers also voice these characters in English as well. For example, G-Lo and Ghoul. I know that my coworkers have voiced them and will continue to voice them from now on. And just because of that, those characters I also am very attached to. I don't know. I just love the work everyone puts into it. I think that the voices that we're working with right now are just incredible, and I couldn't have asked for a better cast or castmates, or it's just been really cool working with them.
No, that's always awesome to hear. You know what? Hopefully, fingers crossed, might be able to get the rest of the Villainous cast, big and small, for future interviews. By the way, Alan Tyriel, again, if you, and Markiplier as well, if any of you guys are listening right now, please come on the Cyberden and please let me interview you finally. I'll give you cookies if you do.
That would be cool. I would love to see interviews with Yan Ruiz or Cindy Elise or Yenny Ann, just off the top of my head. Jason Kessler. These are all part of the cast that have worked on the English sub for this show for this season. And as you know them as Flug, Dementia, G-Lo, Ghoul, and also, like you said, Alan as a Black Hat and Markiplier, gosh, that's like a dream come true. They're all so amazing. Just to be able to hear about their stories and their journey into the show and their background would be incredible.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed I can indeed get them on board. If any of them are listening, please, again, come on. I'll give you guys cookies as well. Please join. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Let's talk a bit about anime. So, you've done quite a lot of voices for, there's the Spanish dub of My Hero Academia, there's Captain Subana, just many more that you've voiced in. How did you exactly break into this field, and what is the appeal of voicing characters in anime?
Wow. It's voicing in anime has probably been one of my longest standing dreams and only one that I am just like barely scratching the surface of. I was so grateful. I believe that Captain Tsubasa was the first actual anime that I voiced in. I did so many additional boy voices for that because I was working with a director at the time. His name is Cedric. I love him. I love, love, love Cedric. He was my favorite and always will be my favorite director. He was French. I love him. But he was the one who got me on board into Captain Tsubasa, and he was always looking out for roles for me. And he knew I could do like boy voices and stuff like that, and that was a very boy-heavy anime. So he was like, I'm going to put you in as any boy I find. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do any boy voice you want me to. Had to do like super big guys on the field, smaller ones, little boys, bigger guys, just like everyone. And it was so fun and so challenging to break into anime in that way because I was really challenging myself. And then of course he would throw in girls like cheerleaders and things like that. And then I managed to get actually a bigger role later on in the anime, which was Yoshiko. And oh gosh, she was very sweet. She was very cute. She was this girl who her boyfriend was a soccer player, and he was going to abroad, like to America. He was going to become a player there, I think, that he was going to play on another team for, and he had to leave her behind. It was so sad. It was so emotional. And that was like the first like, oh my gosh, I'm an anime girl now. Okay, awesome. First step, done. Now what? But I was so stoked about that one. And then from there, we actually had started to get other anime projects in the studio, same studio where we did that dub. We got, shortly after, we got The King's Avatar for the Glory, which is actually a Chinese anime movie. And I got to voice Su Mu Cheng, which is the little sister of one of the main characters. And it was so fun. She's so cute. And she's just so adorable. You just want to protect her, especially after everything that happens in that movie. But she's just the cutest little thing. She'll open the door for him and she'll be like, "Brother, you're home. I made you food." And then she's just the cutest little sweetest thing. I love her. And then from there, since I proved to my director, like, I want to do anime, I can do anime, we had the Spanish dub for My Hero, and like I mentioned before that Spanish was in the back burner for me for a really long time, and I was very rusty. But as soon as we got the Spanish dub for My Hero, I wanted to audition for anything, and I wanted to practice and get better at it, but, no cigar. No dice until this specific character came out, and her name is Pony Sunatori, and she is actually an American transfer student in the official like dub, the Japanese one. Her Japanese voice actress has to do an American accent saying all her Japanese lines, and even says some lines in English. So they thought, well, we're going to make her into a gringa. And what that means is someone who's not very good at speaking Spanish and who is American. So I was like, okay, perfect. I was typecast, and I kind of already figured that was where they were going to go. This was the direction they were going to go in, because I was like, who could I possibly voice from this show that I wouldn't need to particularly have perfect Spanish for? But the thing about my role as Pony is that you do have to have perfect Spanish because I wouldn't like have known, like, it's so hard to explain, but I usually speak English. I can speak some Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish. I speak it pretty well, actually, and I understand all of it. But as I don't speak it very often, it becomes kind of rusty. But when you're working on with such like an interesting character like her, especially in the Spanish dub, you kind of have to know like how to properly speak in Spanish in order to speak broken Spanish, kind of. You get what I mean with the American accent. So, and there were actually times where we were recording and he was like, take that line again. Your Spanish was too good, that one. And I was like, seriously? I had practiced for so long. You got my Spanish good now, and then you have me voicing a character that barely speaks decent Spanish. And then I got to say some English lines there. And another cool thing about that character is, oh my gosh, another voice actress I really, really look up to, Sarah Wiedenheft. Love her work. She is Power in the official English dub of Chainsaw Man, which I also love. And she voices Pony in English. And she's actually coming to a convention near me. So I already reached out to her. I was like, I cannot wait to meet the Pony Cinetori, of which I'm the Spanish counterpart of, because funny story, people had actually watched my performance of her and they were talking about it on TikTok, and they were saying that like I had done such a great like representation of what the English dub was like, translating that to Spanish. So that was super incredible too. I was so honored to be able to do justice to this voice actor's work in another language. But yeah, that was cool. And from there, I've been doing more anime here and there. I've been I'm in some anime projects right now that I don't think I can talk about just yet. But they're very cool, very cute. Some are like more wholesome, some are more like action. And I'm very excited for those to be out. But just now, yeah, like I said, I'm barely scratching the surface, but I really want to get into more. And it's been really, really fun. I'd tell all my directors, and I know they're getting an anime project, I'm like, keep me in mind. Not to be all up in their face or anything, but I just, it's just very cool. Very, very cool. Always love working on it. Always love challenging myself. And, yeah, that's what I'm striving towards right now. Definitely one of my main goals. That and cartoon voice acting, which I already pretty much have been doing over the past 10 years for Cartoon Network and other platforms.
So, do you have any dream voice roles? Any games, movies, animes, cartoons, anything like that you would love to get your voice in?
Oh, I would love to voice. I just recently saw Suzume in theaters yesterday. Loved it. I would love to be in a Makoto Shinkai movie. Love his movies. A Studio Ghibli movie. Oh my gosh, who was the director that made Belle? His movies as well. Any video game movie. I know those are like usually celebrity voice actors are behind those voices, but any movie about like beloved video games or anything like that, or anime movies as well, like the ones I mentioned. Franchises that are very beloved as well, like long ongoing ones like My Hero or Bleach or, any like that, which I'm also a very big fan of. There's so many. It'd just be an honor to be part of anything at this point that has such a big, like, name attached to it like that, For the most part right now, just have video games, cartoons, anime movies, anime. I would love to be in Chainsaw Man. Gosh, that's like a dream come true. Anything. Honestly, anything. I just love to throw myself into that world as a character and just become part of it. I know Genshin Impact is also a big one that a lot of voice actors dream of getting into, which I would be lying if I said, oh gosh, that that sounds really cool, you know? I would love to be in that game as well, or in a game like Genshin Impact, where you have your own character that you can play as, you know, a playable character. Would absolutely, totally love that, to be one of those iconic voices that you hear in a game like that, or in any movie or anime or cartoon.
Now, I know that we've been talking a lot about animes and cartoons especially, but I've heard that you're a bit of a gamer yourself, so I wanted to ask, what are some of your favourite video games?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Yes, I'm a very big gamer. Let me see. I love the Resident Evil franchise. I've been playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. Loving it so far. I'm a big horror game fan. I love horror. And I'm also playing it in hardcore mode. So I'm pretty hardcore, if you ask me. I say as my hands are shaking while I'm holding the mouse. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not scared. But love Resident Evil. Love. Oh my gosh, what else? I love Devil May Cry. That's got to be a really big one that I got into recently. Love Devil May Cry. It's so much fun, and I love how cheesy yet charming it is, especially in like the older games, and also the new one as well that just came out a few years back. Oh my gosh, Persona, that whole franchise, love it. Persona 5 has to be one of my top 10 favorite games of all time at this point. The Danganronpa series and franchise is pretty good as well. Love those games. Grew up with them, actually, throughout my teenage years. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Let me see. Those, and then in like when I'm not looking into playing like a story game, I really like to just like hop on Fortnite and just play like a bunch of games with friends. Dead by Daylight I also really enjoy. Even though it is pain and suffering, I enjoy it. I play as a survivor, so like the whole time I'm running from the killer, but it's so thrilling. There's such a rush in it. It's just addicting. Yeah, those are definitely some of my top favorites. I think that in terms of like a really touching story, I think one that really changed like my life trajectory was probably Persona 5. I definitely really loved and appreciated that game. It was so amazing to see so many amazing characters all in one place, and having this common, you know, goal and enemy, and at the same time overcoming those obstacles along the way. Definitely had to be like one of my favorites. But yeah, I think those are the ones that I'm mainly putting most of my time into. I'm probably gonna like, after this interview, I'm gonna think like, oh man, there was one that I really loved that I totally forgot to mention. But those are the big ones, I think. Definitely. I love those a lot. Oh, and Final Fantasy. I totally forgot. Final Fantasy 7, specifically. I love Cloud and Tifa and Aerith, and they're also special to me, all the characters in that game. But yeah, those are the ones. I think that's about it.
So, when you're not voice acting, how do you like to relax and spend your spare time?
Oh my gosh. Well, when I'm not voice acting, somehow I'm still finding a way to do voice acting. I love to do little like, my friends and I love to get together and do fan dubs, or like grab a scene and just dub over it for fun. Usually it doesn't end up going anywhere, or we put it on like YouTube and it just has like the lowest view count ever because we don't mean for it to get any views. We're just like having fun. Occasionally I'll do like impressions for my social media and things like that. But when I'm not doing fun voice acting stuff in my spare time, I'm usually just like chilling, I guess. I really enjoy playing games in my spare time. I love watching anime, cartoons, keeping up with whatever's big and whatever people are into at the moment. I also really love music. I do sing a lot in my spare time, and I'm also taking up like learning how to produce my own music, which I have already been working towards the past throughout the past few years now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's mostly like playing games, watching stuff, making music. What else? Oh, I love drawing as well. I'm very big on anything like arts. You know, I love drawing, creating really anything. I think that's what like keeps my blood pumping. I love making art, of any sort in any capacity. I love making art. And then when I'm back to work, but not as a voice actor, I do my directing stuff, which is stressful, but it's so rewarding. And I would get more into that, my work as a director as well, but I'll leave it at that for now. Unless you do ask me about that, then I'll be happy to elaborate.
Yeah, by all means, if you want to elaborate some more, go ahead.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, when I'm not doing my voice acting stuff, which is like basically full time at the moment, I'm doing my my freelance directing gig, which is I work at a studio that I've worked at for many years, but I did an internship there, and then I landed the position of director there, and so that means I get to direct English dubs for certain projects that we get that come in, and I'm also a big fan of like watching English dubs for like basically anything that comes out. I love hearing what other studios have to offer and what other voices I may hear, and especially now that I'm a director, I'm more than ever, I focus on like, I really like this voice, and you know, what if this voice was in my project, you know, kind of thing. So I love talent scouting. But when I'm directing, it's like I binge the show that I'm about to, you know, direct for, and I want to know every single thing about the storyline, the plot, the characters, anything I can get my hands on of it. I want to make sure that I know everything. Though you can't know everything, but you can try, just grasp everything about it and just go into it. And the very first project that I had directed was after my internship. I directed this K-drama that is out now on Paramount Plus, Yonder. I believe it is the first K-drama on the platform. It's kind of paving the way for more K-dramas to come on there, because they just recently had made a deal with I think it's TVing, and the one that is actually out right now, which is Yonder on Paramount Plus, I am so stoked about because I worked so hard on it, and my cast and crew, they really know that, and I appreciate them for all the work they've done. And that one I'm very proud of. Because of that deal, hopefully, fingers crossed, more coming that I will be overseeing. I love my work as a director. I love the fact that I get to have my hand in that process, you know what I mean? Because not only am I doing the directing portion, but I'm working everything, I'm manning everything myself behind the computer. So I have the job of audio engineer plus creative director. So I have to be the one who makes all the quick cuts, but also tells the talent, hey, I need this one more time. Came out a little short, changed the inflection here. So very cool. There's more under wraps that I can't quite discuss yet. But definitely, I'm definitely going to be working on more projects in the future as a director. And I'll be posting about those as well on my socials, because I end up being really proud of it and the work that everyone has contributed to it.
Kate, let me just say it's been an absolute blast getting you on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for reaching out. I love being able to talk about Villainous, especially because I love that show and all the talented people behind it. Very grateful for the opportunity that I've been given, and I'm really passionate about voiceover, voice acting, the field as a whole, directing. It's an honor to, be involved in such a way. And I'm glad that you reached out and that we were able to talk. It's been really nice, and I really appreciate you having me.
Now, is there anything you'd like to say to the many Villainous fans out there?
Oh my gosh. Well, hi. It's me, Miss Heed, again. But thank you all so much for supporting Villainous. Here's to, fingers crossed, here's to hoping that we get the official English dub release here in America on HBO Max, because I know that it's been a pain for everyone to find it on HBO Max Latin America. We want it to come here so bad. We all do, very much. I'm with you guys on that. Fingers crossed, here's to hoping. I think that definitely the show is, there's more coming. There's a lot more up their sleeves. I am sure of it. And we're going to see so much more of our beloved characters. I just know it. This show has such a bright future ahead of it. It's already been so well received, and we just all love Alan's work and the way that he has created this world and these characters who live in it. It's just so impressive and amazing and incredible, really. Definitely keep supporting Villainous. Support everything that comes out of Villainous. Let them know just how much you love and want more and more and more of this show, like to no end, because I think that would be just great. As it is, all your love and support has been heard, received through all of the cast announcements that have been made through Twitter on behalf of myself and the cast. We have all been so touched by your words, by your, you and we're so happy that you look forward to hearing more of us and our work in this beloved show. And just keep supporting it. Keep loving Villainous. Keep being Villainous. And just I think that's about it. I really appreciate all the support we've gotten, and it's been amazing to be part of this ride. And I just want to see it, through the end. It's really been an honor. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
And I'd personally like to thank all of the wonderful listeners out there for tuning into another great interview right here on The Cyberden. Kate, thank you, stay safe, and I'm looking forward to more Villainous content in the future.
Thank you, Jake. You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello again, my dearest followers and fans of mine. Miss Heed here, the universally beloved influencer hero of Villainous. Be sure to keep listening to Jake the Voice on the Cyberden, but make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms first. Mwah! Love you. Bye!